So for law firms, the thing to really focus on is if you're making CHAPS payments. So if you are making CHAPS payments, then this transition will affect you because all CHAPS payments are going to require these extra bits of data. If you're a law firm that particularly focuses on property, so maybe you're conveyancing or something like that, then you're obviously making a lot of CHAPS payments, so this is going to impact you quite a lot. For CHAPS payments generally, law firms need to think about adding legal entity identifiers, purpose of payment codes, and structured addresses. For those that are much more focused around property, the purpose of payment code takes on more significance because the Bank of England, who run CHAPS, have 8 very defined purpose of payment codes for property payments, and you need to make sure that you are attaching the right code to each of the payments that you are making. So yeah, there's actually quite a lot for law firms to think about here. The payments will be rejected by CHAPS. Normally when you're making a CHAPS payment, it's because you need the payment to go quickly, okay? It's something important, it tends to be high value. It might be a property purchase, it might be an M&A transaction, it might move into client funds. So not having that money move is going to be a real problem. And in particular for lawyers, because of the SRA regulations around client funds. So if you can imagine, if you're thinking of some money's leaving that client account and then it doesn't, or it gets rejected, or it gets held at a bank, that's a problem, okay? And then there'll be all sorts of additional fees incurred by all the parties, which you could potentially be on the hook for. So CHAPS payments are high value, they're important. And so for law firms, it's really important that they I think it should be at the very leading edge of all of this in terms of making sure that the data they're putting into that payment meets all of these standards and is compliant, so that none of these issues happen. Because when they do happen for lawyers, it's a client servicing issue because it stops something happening. It's an SRA issue because you're liable to be in breach of the SRA regs. And more importantly for lawyers is a personal liability issue, right? Which is you don't want to be the individual of the firm that causes some delay in something or something to not happen because of an omission on your part. So really important they focus on this and make sure that data's in there.